Hey guys, Sleepy here, and welcome to a new video in my community question series. This is episode 38, and the question for today that I want to ask you guys is, how important is the TV that you play your games on? You know, I want to know like how important the television or the monitor is for you. Do you have like a specific TV you like to play your games on, or is there a specific monitor you like to use, or do you pretty much not like care? Does it really matter to you? I'd love to know how important a television is for you and your gaming. You guys can answer this question as either a comment or a video response. I do ask that anybody that films a video response just to let me know about it so I can check it out. I'm not always alerted by YouTube, and I would hate to miss your guys' video. I will also post a link to your video as a comment so that other people can check it out. I have had people who have posted links to their videos in the past that have been deleted. Recently, people have shared their video responses with me as comments and they haven't been deleted, but I just want to let everybody know that if it does get deleted, it's not me. It's just what YouTube does sometimes. They don't like people posting links on videos, and sometimes those comments will get flagged as spam and they'll get auto deleted. So if that happens, you know, let me know about it and I will post a link to your video because I want people to be able to check it out. And I do appreciate everyone who has taken the time to film video responses to any of my questions in this series. You guys are awesome, and I've had a lot of fun reading your guys' responses, answering these questions. You know, it's just had some really great discussions with people about these various topics. And it's just interesting to get different perspectives and how people feel because, you know, we all have our own way of gaming, and it's nice to have different viewpoints and a different perspective on something that maybe, oh yeah, I didn't think of it like that. So I do love interacting with you guys. I will be hosting a contest that I will be having at the end of this question series, and there will be several different prizes. The main prize is going to be a console with some games. The winner will get to choose from a couple different consoles which one they want, and then they'll also get to pick some games to go with it. So it'll be a great way for you to maybe get a console you don't have and start a nice little library for it. I will also have some runner-up prizes where people can win the gift cards or a few games. You'll be able to pick from the games, and there will be more than one winner. And now you get entries into this contest by participating in my community question series. You can get up to 2 entries per video, one by answering the question as a comment, and you also get another one by doing a video response, but you don't have to do both. You can do one or the other. It's up to you. But the way to get the most entries into this contest is for you to do both. Leave a comment and film a video response answering the question. At the end, I will tally up everybody's entries, and you'll be entered into the contest. Now, don't feel bad if you've missed any of my previous questions. You know, I've got 38 now, counting this video, and you can go back anytime and answer any of my questions, whether it's the 15th question or the 20th question, my 3rd question. You know, whatever one you missed, you can always go back and answer them, and you'll get credit. As long as the contest hasn't concluded, you will get credit for it. So I do encourage you guys to go back and answer any of my previous questions. I'd love to hear from you guys. So I'm going to answer the question for you guys now, is how important is the TV that I play my games on? And actually I have more than just like one answer for this, because for me it depends on the generation of consoles that I'm playing on. And I'll start off with the most recent is 9th gen for Xbox Series X, and I do have some examples to share with you, like this Necromunda Hired Gun, which is an Xbox Series X / Xbox One game. Now, for me personally, now that I have an Xbox Series X and I have a 4K television, for 9th gen, I cannot go back to playing on anything less than a 4K for modern gaming because I have been so spoiled with how amazing the game's graphics look on the Xbox Series X and on a 4K television. Like, they just look absolutely visually beautiful, absolutely stunning, and it's just really hard to go back to a 1080p TV, as you can really feel the downgrade in quality, and also from like the frame rate and stuff, going from like 30 to 60, and if I actually seen 120 hertz TV, so, you know, 120 frames a second, you know, playing on a really modern TV. Like, it's just absolutely night and day. I've seen that at a buddy's house. But for me, playing games on my Xbox Series X, I have to have a 4K TV. I could never go back to hooking up a Series X to a 1080p TV, which I never have had to do. I've played my Xbox One X on a 1080p TV and my Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 4 Pro, but I could never go back and play an Xbox Series X game now on a 1080p TV. Like, I would be able to definitely tell the visuals after playing games on a 4K. I see the huge difference, and I see where you need a 4K TV, because you're not going to get the full experience of the game, of what the developers have created. As long as it's been a game that's been specifically made for the Series X, or it's got an upgrade for the Series X. Like, there are some Xbox One games that look good on the Series X, but they weren't like made for the Series X. There are some games that are Series X only that are coming out, and they would just not run properly without being in 4K. So that's one of those situations where you want to have a 4K TV so you can get the full experience, the immersion into the world, the ray tracing, the lighting and graphics, just the stuff they could not do on an old 1080p TV that you can in these Ultra HD 4K TVs. And I do have an example I want to share with you guys of me playing a few minutes of Cyberpunk 2077 and just showing you guys a visual of why I love gaming on a 4K TV for my Xbox Series X. So let's check that out real quick. Alright guys, and I just wanted to give you an example of why I love my 4K TV, like playing a game like Cyberpunk 2077 here. I find it absolutely necessary for 9th gen consoles that you own at least a 4K TV. If you have a 1080p TV, you're not going to be able to fully take advantage of the games that you're playing if you don't have a 4K TV.
Feels great to have you back. So then, did you all hear about that Arasaka aircraft carrier docked in Night City called Kujira, or the Whale?
Now obviously my phone's not going to be able to share the top quality of what the TV screen looks like, but you still get an idea of how amazing games look in 4K. And this is definitely a game that is graphically very impressive, especially since they released patches for the Xbox Series X version of the game and really upgraded the graphics. Like, it just looks absolutely amazing in 4K, and you would just not get these kind of graphics if you had played on a regular 1080p TV, which I used to play my Xbox One on because I did not have a 4K TV. But once I upgraded to a 4K TV, it was like really like a night and day going from an older TV to one of the more modern, newer TVs. And I love this Samsung 4K TV, especially for 9th gen. It really makes the games visually stand out, and they look just absolutely amazing, having the Ultra HDR on and the graphics stuff. And of course, this isn't the top of the line 4K TV, but you still get a really solid picture with it. You get great look to the games, and I absolutely just love visually how the games look in 4K. Just like the reflectiveness of like the water. I mean, look how realistic that water looks when it's reflecting the sky and the scenery around you in the world. How the lighting and stuff works, especially when you have some of the games with the ray tracing on and stuff. Like, for me, when it comes to modern games, 8th gen, 9th gen, I do prefer to play them on a 4K TV, especially if I'm playing on my Xbox Series X. Now, if I'm playing my Xbox One or PS4, the PS4 Pro or something, I'm okay with playing them on a 1080p TV. But even playing on my PS4 Pro looks better playing it here on my 4K TV. So that's why I keep my PS4 Pro here in the living room with my Xbox Series X. I keep my regular PS4 on the TV in my bedroom, which is my old 1080p TV. But I personally feel that you will not get the full experience with next-gen gaming if you don't have the proper TV for it. So for me, when it comes to 8th gen, 9th gen, I have to have a 4K TV. I cannot go back anymore, as personally, the downgrading graphics is really detrimental in the gameplay and stuff. You really do get spoiled playing on a 4K TV, and it's just absolutely amazing the kind of stuff that they're able to pull off with these new consoles when you have the proper TV to display them. So I do enjoy playing these games in 4K. I mean, look at even like the visuals of these people. Like, they look pretty damn good. You can see, like, he's got 5 o'clock shadow. You can see the detailed textures on his hair. You know, they look more realistic, like real people, compared to like games in the past did. And you're just not going to get this kind of quality without playing on a 4K TV. Now, obviously, if you're playing on PC and stuff, you can get much better graphics and frame rates and stuff. But for consoles, you know, it looks pretty damn good. So for me, when it comes to 9th gen, 8th gen, I have to have a 4K TV. Now, it's just hard to play them without a 4K TV after experiencing it, especially for my Xbox Series X. Now, I can still play my PS4 games and my regular Xbox One games on a 1080p TV, and I'll be fine with it, but after experiencing the Xbox Series X on 4K, I could never go back to playing this Series X on an old TV. I could not take it and hook it up to the TV in my room. It just would not have the same experience for me personally. And I love how these games look in 4K, especially when they've been created for them, you know. Now, obviously, not every game out there is going to be formatted specifically for 4K gaming and all that kind of stuff, and they don't always have the extra bells and whistles, but when a game is specifically made for the Xbox Series X or it gets an upgrade patch for it, then I personally would love to play it on 4K, as to me that's where you get you a full experience of playing modern gaming, is on nice 4K television. So for me, modern TVs are a must if you have any of the 9th gen consoles. Alright, so that was a little example of why I love playing games on my 4K TVs. You guys saw it looked just absolutely stunning. Now, obviously, if I had used my capture card or something, you know, you guys would get a better idea of the visuals, because obviously my phone that I use to record these videos isn't going to show the maximum settings of what my TV looks like. But it still should give you guys a pretty good idea, though, that they just look pretty damn beautiful on that 4K TV. And, like, it's just like night and day. It was a wonderful gift that I received from my brother. And the only reason he got rid of that TV is he wanted to upgrade from a 65-inch to a 77-inch. Because 65 just wasn't big enough for him for his gaming. He had to go larger. And so he gave me his old TV, as he had no use for having another TV in his house. So he gave it to me. And then he also gifted me that Xbox Series X, and man, it just looks amazing on 4K, and I could just never go back to playing those games on my 1080p TV that I still have in my bedroom. But for older consoles, though, like this Cloudpunk game here, which has graphics similar to like a Lego style or a block style kind of game, you know, these ones here I'm completely fine playing on my 1080p TV. You know, it doesn't have to be in 4K because they're not made to be 4K Ultra HD or anything. You know, they just pretty much have like standard graphics, and they look and play completely fine on a 1080p TV. So for me, I don't have to have the best of the world to play some of the 8th gen titles I have in my collection. Another one here, like this Warhammer 40,000 Deathwatch game for PlayStation 4. You know, there's a lot of PlayStation 4 games that look completely fine playing them on my 1080p TV. There are some that I do prefer on my PlayStation 4 Pro to play on the 4K TV. You do get the boost, but I'm okay playing a majority of my PS4 titles on my 1080p TV because that's what they were created for. You know, a lot of them, the early ones especially, you know, weren't made for 4K televisions, so you're not really missing anything in it, and you're not really getting a huge boost playing on a 4K TV when the game doesn't even support the 4K resolution. So for these kind of games, you know, I'm completely fine playing them on standard 1080p televisions. You know, I don't have to have the best of the best when it comes to PlayStation 4. Another one here, like my Nintendo Switch, like I'm completely fine playing this pretty much on any kind of TV, because a lot of times I play my Switch games portably, so the screen that they have is nice. You know, I have my new OLED Nintendo Switch that I recently got this year, and the screen on that looks amazing, but no game on the Nintendo Switch is really graphically demanding. Anytime they have like The Witcher 3 or the Metro collection that's on there, you know, they always are downgraded because you're not going to get 4K gaming on the Nintendo Switch. It's just how it is. You know, Nintendo went more for playing games than going for a graphical style. So for me, for the Switch, I'm completely fine playing this on my 1080p TV. I have my regular Switch in my bedroom on the 1080p TV, and I have my Switch OLED hooked up here in the living room on my 4K TV, and I really don't notice a difference on either TV. They both look the exact same to me. Let's see. Some other ones here. Going back, some older ones that I like playing on my 1080p TV, because I am lucky that I have a TV from 2013, an old Samsung 55-inch 1080p TV that still has component and AV hookups, so I can hook up all of my older consoles to that TV and still play them, and for me they look fine. And it's really great, especially for the ones that have HDMI support now, like the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Now, when the Xbox 360 first launched, you know, all they had was composite and component cables. They didn't even have an HDMI output on it, and that wasn't until later models that you were able to have an HDMI cord for it to really upgrade in like visuals and stuff, and similar to like PlayStation 3. So I do enjoy playing these on my 1080p TV. I really love having the HDMI support that the consoles have, and so I do like playing PlayStation 3 with HDMI on my 1080p TV. But these are kind of games that I don't need to have a 4K TV for. Like, if you don't have a 4K TV and you have a PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, you know, you're not missing out on anything. If you hook these up to a modern TV, you know, 4K, you're not really going to get a huge boost in graphics unless you're playing like an old Xbox 360 game on your Series X and the console itself is upgrading the graphics for you. You're not really going to get a boost in visuals, so I don't have to play these kind of games on a 4K TV. I'm completely fine playing them on a 1080p TV. Now, when I want to play these on like do composite hooked up to a tube TV, yeah, definitely not. No, I have to at least have a minimum of a 1080p TV to fully enjoy my 7th gen games for PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. You know, really got to have a decent TV for those, as they just look so much better with the HD support of those HD TVs. So I have to play my 7th gen games like that. Some examples here of 6th gen. Now, these are games that I have played on tube TVs in the past, but I have been playing them on my 1080p TV because I have a component cable for my PlayStation 2 and my original Xbox. You know, I do have component cables for both of these. There are HDMI mods you can do to your consoles. You can buy the those little attachments that hook up to your television, but it doesn't really upscale the signal unless you get, you know, one of those FrameMeister type of things. But for me, I'm completely fine through component cable playing my PlayStation 2 and my original Xbox games on my 1080p TV. And for me, they look completely fine. It's like night and day, though, when I went from playing original Xbox games through composite cable, you know, the red, white, and yellow, to playing through a component cable, you know, that has the RGB, you know, the red, green, blue, and then you have the white and red for the audio. Like, it was just amazing playing original Xbox games on a 1080p TV with the component cables versus the composite cable. It's like night and day with them, and it really does look good. But it's another one, you don't need a 4K TV to fully enjoy this, unless there's a specific one that got upgraded for Xbox Series X, and then you need to play it on your Series X anyways and not an original Xbox. You'll get all the performance boost and the boost in graphics and stuff. Then I could see needing it. But for a majority of original Xbox games, I'm completely fine playing them on my 1080p TV. And the same thing goes for my PlayStation 2, because I also have component cables for my PlayStation 2 as well. I'm completely fine playing these on a 1080p TV, as I do prefer them over older model TVs, even though the PlayStation 2 doesn't have to have it to play them and still enjoy them. But I like the way they look through component cables on my 1080p TV. I also have like GameCube here, which is really nice. Now, of course, I don't have the component cables for my GameCube. Those things are just absolutely ridiculously priced. But the nice thing is, I do have component cables for my Nintendo Wii, and the Wii is backwards compatible with GameCube, so I can take advantage of my 1080p TV playing my GameCube games, and I think they look absolutely beautiful on there, and I think it looks great for game systems like the GameCube playing on my 1080p TV, but they'd still run fine even on a tube TV, even those HD tube TVs that are out there that have component cable support. You know, you can play them on there and it would still look fine for me. So I'm okay with my 1080p TV for GameCube games, and even playing them on a tube TV would be fine with me. And then finally, we'll talk about here some of my, like, the cartridge-based consoles. Now, these are ones that I don't have to have the best picture quality in the world. Like, here's Top Gear Rally for the Nintendo 64. You know, I'm completely fine playing this on whatever kind of monitor that I have available. I do hook it up to my 1080p TV only because it's the only thing I have for retro gaming these days. I had a nice tube TV. It was an older Sylvania TV, but it died in the last couple years, and so if I want to play my old games, I can only play them on my 1080p TV in my bedroom because I don't have a tube TV right now, and I would like to get one down the road for them, but as of right now, it's completely fine for me playing my Nintendo 64 games. Now, am I going to get the best resolution that I could because I don't have a frame meister? Of course not. You know, I'm not somebody that has to have my older consoles like have the best visuals of all time, because if I'm going to be honest with you, you know, people talk about, oh, you know, I want that old retro experience. Well, if you played these old retro games, a lot of us, especially if you're my age, you know, you were either born in the late 70s or born in the 80s or whatever, and did a lot of gaming in the late 80s and early 90s, you know, when we had televisions to play on, you know, we just had, you know, basic run-of-the-mill tube TVs, and if you were lucky to have one in your bedroom, maybe you had a black and white, or you had a small little cheap TV that you got at like the thrift store and stuff. My parents, we had a black and white TV we played games on, like Nintendo and stuff, but we eventually got color television, but they were just, you know, your basic little plug-in stuff to television, and it wasn't the top of the line anything, and you were happy playing your games on there. So if you really want to go for a true, authentic retro experience of playing old Nintendo 64 games, or a Sega Genesis, or a regular Nintendo, you know, you'd have to go buy a crappy television, because not everybody had, you know, some of these wonderful Sony TVs that came out towards the end of the lives, like a Sony Trinitron and stuff. A lot of these came towards the end of tube TVs' lives, where you got like amazing TVs. There are some of those that even had component inputs and stuff in them, and even some had HDMI ports in them, of the really last models of them. So if you really want to get the true NES experience playing like this Ghostbusters 2 game or Super Mario Brothers or something, you know, you really want to get the authentic experience, then you need to play on an old beat up television, and you get the true experience that a lot of us had. Unless you were super wealthy or rich or something, you know, you just had kind of a crappy TV, and that would be the real authentic gaming experience, would be playing on those. But you have a lot of people today that are spoiled with the 4Ks. You know, you can get spoiled with the frame meisters and that are out there, you know, the video upscalers, which I have seen. They do make them look absolutely amazing and beautiful on modern TVs. It's a great way for you to play your old consoles on modern TVs. But for me, I'm not truly getting the authentic experience if I'm not playing them on the old televisions. Now, I do play my NES games and my Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis on my 1080p TV, because that's the only TV I have available to play these old consoles. And I know some people will not like that. I know people get upset by how the aspect ratio of the TV gets stretched out, and there's also, I do understand there is that whole thing with input lag. Sometimes, you know, you'll push a button and it might have a few seconds of lag where it'll affect how you're playing the game, and sometimes some games can be really noticeable and others aren't. Me personally, I don't really notice it. I just have fun playing my older games. I don't really notice too much of a drop in like lag or anything for me personally, but I do know some people have an issue playing old games and not playing it on a tube TV. Now you may also have the issue too if you play games like Duck Hunt or something, those light gun games can't play on modern TVs. You need to have those old tube TVs, and they have to be the flat ones. They have to be the beveled ones that stick out a little bit, or they aren't going to work. And it's just how it is. If you want to play those old ones, unless you have any kind of like special attachments, you're not going to be able to play light guns without having that old tube TV. So for me, it's not a big a deal for me, the kind of TV I play my older games on. Like I said, I'm playing mine on 1080p TV right now, and they look fine for me, but I know some people would probably be like, oh god, that's the most disgusting thing. How could you play on that TV? No, you gotta play it on a Sony Trinitron, and you gotta have the FrameMeister if you're gonna play, I gotta have my old Nintendo, this gotta have 4K on it, I gotta hook it up to the great TV through the FrameMeister. Ooh, I couldn't play this on an old tube TV or that 1080p TV. Ugh, get that shit out of here, I do know there are some people like that. I have met some people like that. They get spoiled with 4K, and they want to have every game they own look just as amazing as their new consoles. But for me personally, as long as I can play and enjoy the game, I don't really care. It's not a huge deal for me for older games, but when it comes to 9th gen, oh yeah, buddy, I better have a 4K TV to fully enjoy it. So I'm going to give you guys a quick little video showing you guys here, a little demonstration of how I play like my NES games and how they look for me on the 1080p TV. And you guys can be your own judge if that'd be good enough for you guys to play your games, or would you have to have that tube TV, or would you have to play it on a modern TV with something like a FrameMeister that upscales the signal for your game. So let's check it out. Alright guys, and now I wanted to show you an example of me playing some retro consoles on my 1080p TV that I have in my bedroom. It's a Samsung 55-inch. I'm using my modded Wii, as it's just easier for me to show more than one console without having to take the time to hook up a bunch of them. So we'll start out with a couple NES games. And we'll check out New Ghostbusters 2. This was an exclusive to Japan and Europe only. We did not receive this one in North America. We got a shitty one that Activision made. This is the Ghostbusters game we should have got. Highly recommend this for NES. You can get reproduction carts of this, as the PAL ones are kind of expensive to get, but there's plenty of repro ones out there you can buy, or play it on a ROM through an emulator like I'm doing. You have all 4 Ghostbusters to choose from, which is pretty sweet. So let's pick my boy Winston. And what's also interesting about this game is you actually can play as Lewis, which is the only Ghostbusters game I know you can play as Lewis, and one of the only Ghostbusters games I know you can play as Winston. Really fun game. If you guys have never played this for NES, highly recommend it. It's awesome. And it follows the movie very faithfully of the second movie very well. Ghosts from the movie appear in this and stuff, and you even get to do the scenes. So it goes through pretty much the entire movie, which is great. And the whole object of it is to bust ghosts. Has fantastic music, too. There's actually music from the movie in this, which is really cool once you get to later levels. And you can see it looks pretty good. Now, I do have my image stretched out, as I do have it like a widescreen setting. If you wanted to get the true retro experience, you probably would want to put it as a 4:3 aspect ratio, but for me personally, it doesn't really bother me. But I know some people that might bug you, that it's not in the correct aspect ratio. So just give you guys a little look at that game, and we'll check out one more. How about we go to a Mario game? Like Super Mario Brothers or something. Oh, how about Super Mario Brothers 2? Love this game as a kid. I've never actually beat it. So this is a goal. I want to beat this game before I die. I need to beat it. And we'll be Luigi. And you can see it works pretty well. I don't really notice much lag or anything on this TV, which is great. And personally, it looks completely fine for me. But, I mean, you know, everybody's got their own opinion. You know, you guys could be the judge. Would you be able to play this game? Or do you think it's just wrong to play it on this TV and you'd have to play it on a CRT TV or on this TV but using something like a Frame Meister or some kind of upscaler to properly play it? Just wanted to give you guys a little look at NES games, and then we'll just check out a Super Nintendo game or two. How about we play a Donkey Kong? This was another personal favorite of mine as a kid. I have beat this game multiple times. I even beat it on the Super Famicom with a buddy. I just absolutely love the Donkey Kong Country games, and the first one is one of my favorite of the 5 games that are out. Just a classic. And it still holds up pretty well, too, today. And that classic aquatic theme. So, just wanted to give you guys a little look at a Super Nintendo game. Maybe we'll check out one more. What about little Super Mario Kart? Another game I loved playing a lot as a kid. It will be Donkey Kong Jr. So you guys have to let me know your opinion. You know, do you guys like playing these old games on modern TVs? Or are you someone that has to play them on tube TV or proper CRT? Or do you like to have an upscaler similar to like a FrameMeister or something in order to enjoy these on modern TVs? Personally, I don't have an issue with it. I don't really notice much lag, but I know that some people do notice lag on their TVs playing on these modern ones with a little bit of input delay. But personally, it doesn't really bother me, and it doesn't hinder my experience playing these old games. As unfortunately, the tube TV that I had died, so I actually had to get rid of it, and I eventually will have to find another one, but it's not like it's anything I'm like have to have, you know. I can completely play it on this and not be upset at all. So I just wanted to show you guys a little example there. Never have an issue, you know, playing these kind of games. I guess we could even check out a Sega Genesis game. So give me a moment to get that loaded up. Oh, let me load Sonic the Hedgehog Classic. Oh, even better. How about Road Rash? Even Road Rash 2 works. Man, love the Road Rash series too. I remember my brother and I would just spend hours playing this game the right way, and then I remember my brother and I used to like fighting the cops in this and beating people off their bikes. This was an awesome racing game, and it's still awesome today. Definitely probably going to be rusty. I haven't played this one in a few years now, so... Oh man, it was just that's fun times. It's tough which one was my favorite. Bitch, get out of here. Fuck off. Yeah, got rid of him. But I just wanted to give you guys a little look at playing some retro games there. You guys saw NES, saw some Super Nintendo, a Sega Genesis game even. It looks good for me. I know some people might not enjoy playing these games on a more modern TV, but it doesn't bother me at all. But I'd love to know your guys' thoughts, you know. How do you guys like playing your old games? Do they got to be on a CRT, or do you got to use one of those FrameMeisters or something? I'd love to know. But just wanted to give you guys a little look here at me playing some old retro games on my 1080p TV here in my bedroom. Alright, so you guys got to see a little demonstration of me playing my NES game on there. You guys got to see what it was like, and you guys can be the judge for yourself if that's something that you could do, or would you prefer to play it on a tube TV? Obviously, I would like to play it on a CRT, but I don't have one right now, and I really don't have the room for one at the moment anyways. I gotta get rid of the one that I do currently have in my bedroom because it's broken. So that's another thing too, you know, sometimes these TVs do take up a lot of space, and I'm completely fine playing my older games, you know, some 8th gen, all the way back to the NES and stuff. Playing them on my 1080p TV in my bedroom is completely fine for me, as personally, I don't have to have the best of the best when it comes to gaming. You know, a lot of times I just like to be able to play the game and enjoy the story. But when it comes to my Xbox Series X games, though, I have to have a 4K TV. I can never go back. It just is what it is. And I'm not sorry to say that. Just, I love my 4K TV for 4K gaming. Like, you have to have it. I just feel if you aren't playing these kind of games on a 4K TV, you're not really getting the full experience that you can. Now, these older games, your NES, your Xbox 360 and stuff, you can play them fine on a 1080p TV, and you're not missing out on anything. But for me, 9th gen, I have to have a 4K TV. For older consoles, I'm fine playing on a 1080p TV. The ones towards the middle, you know, your 6th and 7th gen, you know, I have to have at least a 1080p TV. I can't play them on a tube TV. But anything older, Sega Saturn and before, I am completely fine playing those games on a tube TV. And I don't have to have anything upscaled with upscalers or anything like that. You know, it doesn't really bother me. Personally, the lag has not been an issue for me. I know that can be kind of an issue with people when it comes to the TVs they play on as well. Personally, it doesn't bother me as much, but it might bother you. So I would love to know your guys' answer to this question. You know, how important is the television for you for your gaming? Are you kind of like me, where, like, you know, 9th gen games, you know, you got to have that 4K? Or do you like playing all your games on your 4K? And maybe you're someone who owns a FrameMeister or one of those HD upscaler type of things, and you love playing all your games on there. Or maybe you're someone who owns a nice Sony Trinitron and you like to play all your retro games on that console. You know, I would love to hear your guys' answer to this question. You guys can answer the question by leaving a comment. You can answer the question by filming a video response. I just ask if you do film a video response to let me know about it so I can check it out. I don't want to miss it. And I will also post a link to your video as a comment so other people can check it out as well. I want to thank you guys for all your participation in this series. You guys are amazing. I love reading your guys' comments. I love watching your guys' videos. I really, really do appreciate it. Take care. Have a wonderful day and sleep. We'll see you guys next time.